Hey guys, before we get on with the video here, I figured I'd do a walk around on this tractor. I don't think I've really done a full walk around on it yet. I've just showed me working on it. So, let's start with the back end here. So I think this is actually a steel wheel that had a rim welded on it. I don't know for sure. I believe that's the case. If you guys know, let me know. And it's got like some really beefy construction tires on it. I just love the layout of this. I did test it. It is not filled with calcium. But the rest of the thing is so freaking heavy, man. The loaders can't pick it up. It's heavy. Then this front tire here, she's pretty old. Turn my light on. Yeah, she's pretty dry rotted. The rear, so you got a little dry rot there, fine. But this one, this is kind of like one you hang on the wall. The old BF Goodrich logo. I love that. The Silver Town. So, the major thing that this thing is missing, that kind of sucks, is it is missing the brake pedal, as you can tell. I'm pretty sure that's the brake pedal because I know this is backwards where the clutch is on where the brake would usually be. I don't know how this brakes. Is it like a transmission brake, like it actually brakes the gearing? I don't know. Very interesting. But here's the lowdown of it. Truth be told, I haven't even checked the transmission to see if there's fluid in there. I honestly doubt there is. So we will fill that up once we get this thing running and driving a little bit. Of course, you guys seen me pop this timing cover off before, where the clutch and the flywheel is. I had to clean off all the markings on there. It's really interesting. They marked every cylinder's top dead center, so I kind of had to figure out where cylinder 1 is. The gas tank, honestly, it's got that cool patina to it. I really like it. It's pretty rusty on the inside. I'm not that worried about it, though. I've worked with rusty gas tanks before, and I can get it working pretty good. What was right here? Because this is really confusing. I'm not sure. It looks like it was put on wrong too. So I don't know what that is. I do have some fluid seeping up there. That might be gear oil from the transmission, because we have gotten this thing to bark off. As you can tell, the tubs on it, they're pretty janky. I think that came... I think this was a parts tractor, and they took the bad tubs from the old tractor and threw it on this. And none of it is bolted down. And I just still have, oh, well, ratchet straps holding it down. And the funny thing is there is bolts, like, underneath where this is supposed to go, like, but they just didn't run it on through. I don't know. It's kind of weird. The steering on this thing is super tight. I need to grease it up, but it is so hard to turn. I was really fighting the urge to put a pipe wrench on it and turn it because I didn't want to mar up the casting. But yeah. Are these steel wheels in the front too that were converted to rims? Real interesting. Oh, I gotta take that off and see how that bearing's doing. It's probably chooched. Really cool how they have just a greaser sticking out the side here. Love the old school technology. But this thing is just built like a rock. If you guys saw my last video, I accidentally whacked the front of this with the loader a couple times, right on the sharp edge, right on the corner, because it kept rolling when I was stopping, because I had to flat tow it, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna break it, and it left the tiniest little nick in there, which is just amazing how tough this stuff is built. Probably why it was so heavy to haul. Again, she is starting to spit out oil out of these tubes, so we do have oil pressure. And I did clean up the actual oil filter housing itself too. A lot of corrosion in there, a lot of corroded aluminum. But we got all the stuff cleaned out. I put this in the sandblaster and got her all cleaned on up. And I also cleaned up the mixer side too. Don't worry, we'll get this on the tractor eventually. Oh, and that's a motor mount to a 351 Windsor in there. This pulley, were these originally painted red? I know it's a random question, but I've seen some like old advertisements and these and the wheels are red, so maybe I'll paint this red. I'm surprised it's still on there because it looks like it should just be falling off. But, oh, yeah. Alright, noted. Maybe that's why the belt kept falling off. That'd be bad. Just turn and turn and turn and then shoo! Yeah, the wheel will catch it. Real cool. It's kind of like the Alice Chalmers, how the steering is. At least my B, it was the same way. And as you guys know, the gasoline tank on this, I was twisting on it, and, well, this sheared off, so there's that. But this has a lot of pinholes in it. But I like to bring this around, too, and I'd actually like to run this on kerosene. There's a kerosene pump near me, And just for giggles, I might put like 3 gallons of kerosene in it and see if we can actually get it to switch over. But I'll worry about that later. And now we'll bring it back around to the back of the operating station here. We do have the side delivery hitch, which I think is really neat. And I could think of a few uses for this. And truth be told, I actually haven't done a full walk around of this tractor looking at it close, because I'm like mechanical. I just like working on engines, and it's not my first thought to go walk around the whole tractor, even though I probably should. So that's interesting. This is kind of like a archaic 3-point hitch in a sense. Huh, what kind of drawbar is this? Because I heard them say like Wheatland drawbars and row crop drawbars or whatever. I'm kind of new to that understanding of that stuff. Yep, that's a rear end, all right. Kind of the old school style. There's a bolt right there. It's real greasy. All right, good. Well, that means it has grease in it. And the block off for the PTO. I wish this had a PTO on it, but beggars can't be choosers. And of course, the original toolbox that I've been throwing some stuff in. And oh yeah, I remember, this came with a light. A random light. General Electric. Lord knows what this is off of. It's John Deere green and International red. Equal opportunity. Oh, and there's a sediment bowl I put in there and some other random junk. That's alright. And you can barely see the outline of where it said 1020 on this. It's actually easier to see on the camera than in person. Oh, the seat and the spring there look pretty good. Seat's not that bad. Needs a little bit of WD-40, but yeah, you look at the condition of it. Not rotted out. A lot better in the H. And I haven't ran it through the gears yet because I haven't really driven it. But I think it's had all gears. Or, oh wait, is that, which one? So this is the gear. That's the transmission. Yeah, and this is the pulley. Yeah. So, there's no shift pattern on here. Well, let's run it through the gears quick. Man, this thing sits forward at an aggressive angle. I don't think I've really sat on this. I've always just stood on here. Really stiff clutch. Oh well. I don't know the shift pattern on this, so I don't know if it's like a reverse, forward. Well, it's already better than our H, because, well, at least it goes into gear. Oh yeah. Likes to spin around for some reason. I'm guessing that's normal. I don't know if these are a 4-speed. There's one gear. There's another gear right up there. And over. Yeah, I think it wants to go in gear. It just needs to roll a little bit and back. Yeah. So I think this is 3 forward gears, 1 reverse gear. Very interesting. I just realized too, the operating station's a little off to the right. Not exactly straight. That's okay. I look forward to driving this thing pretty soon though. Toot it up and down the road, and after that we'll give her the justice she needs, give her a really good clean down. Gotta find an oil pan gasket for this. I don't know if you gotta make them or not, and making them out of cork sucks. But I guess I can get like a big sheet of paper gasket, drop it over, and mark it as I go. But either way, we'll get this thing going. This isn't a major priority of mine because I got to restore the 504, but I definitely do want to putz with this tractor because the channel loves it, and I like it because it's a 96-year-old tractor, and well, she still runs, so it's pretty cool. Howdy there, folks. Thought I'd give you a little progress update here on the McCormick 1020. Still waiting on that spacer, but that's okay. So I got the intake manifold on, and I also made up a DIY quart gasket. I think it's going to seal, but if it doesn't, I'm just going to take it off and cut out like a quart gasket out of a piece of thin cardboard or something. This little plate I made back here is only like 18 gauge steel, so it's not really that tough. I mean, it looks relatively flat, but I guarantee you it isn't, so it might be a little warped. So the only concern I have about putting the poly double barrel carb on this is if this has a vacuum leak, that carb won't lean out. I mean, I'll have those screws pretty turned down, but if it has a vacuum leak, this might rev up and take off a little bit, so I'm going to be worried about that. I made sure all my welds on this were pretty solid. I pressure tested it, and all the little pinholes I welded on up, so the actual intake manifold itself that I fabricated is good. It's just this gasket connecting to the cylinder head, or not the cylinder head, the other intake manifold I'm a little concerned about. But besides that, this thing does actually run now. I can, as you guys well know, but I can hand crank it and it'll actually turn on. The rings came around, there's compression, it can suck on all cylinders, it's great. So I'll give a brief demonstration of this thing actually running by hand. So the thing about this is I don't really have a choke on this, and this thing likes to be choked in order to pull fuel. It only has like a 4-to-1 compression ratio, so there's not a lot of suck going on there. So I put a glove over the intake manifold, and that way it sucks in fuel. Make sure my magneto's grounded out so I don't blow my arm off. Give her a couple twists. Then I'll flip on the impulse coupling, and I'll set the magneto to about top dead center, right in the middle. Now I'm going to kind of pull or choke off a little bit, so just, it's still choking but not as much, so it can still suck some air in. Then with a couple pulls, this thing should fire up. Like that. She never did that before. A little bit more. Open up our choke a little bit more. Shut the impulse coupling. Come on, sweetheart. I'll close her choke a little bit more. Ground out the magneto. A couple. Have her advance about a top dead center. Open up our choke a little bit. She's banging on. Choke engaged, magneto grounded out. Well, that was scary. I guess the magneto being grounded out ain't grounded out. Noted. But yeah, it ran. So it sucked this on in, and it seemed to like to run a lot better off of that. It keeps pulling fuel. So it kind of doubles as a throttle body too. Woo! Let's try that again. All right, one more time. So she runs, obviously, but she runs by hand crank now. I'm kind of worried. So the magneto fully retard should ground it out. Maybe it's fully advanced. Am I missing something? I thought that's how it was. So, let me know. But besides that, she's running. She sounds good. I've inspected the bottom end on this. Everything seems fine. I do want to give it a deeper cleaning, but until then, she's running fine. It's making oil pressure. It's pushing oil out the tubes. Life is good. So, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you appreciated the little update on the McCormick 1020 here while I'm waiting on stuff. I felt like making a video on it. So, you guys have a good one, and please like, comment, subscribe, and press that hype button. I have no idea what it means, but just press it. Like, sure. You know what that does, drop in the comments, I guess, but yeah, fun stuff, fun stuff. Just really goes to show, folks. Bid on that tractor that's going for scrap price, because with a little bit of work, and honestly, you could put a lot more carrying work into these things than I do. You can make them really come around again, but they're pretty awesome. Another thing that's really cool about these is that those covers on the side are the same as up here. So I found that out. I haven't even filled the cooling system on this yet, and that is pretty gnarly. That is definitely something I'm going to flush out for sure. And I really hope when I fill this, water doesn't go from there into there. But I guess we'll see. Baby steps, one thing at a time. I have no money really invested into it. Well, besides the carb spacer and the initial purchase of the tractor. So it's not really a big deal. And the only reason I could justify buying the 1-inch carb spacer was because I know I'm going to need it someday because, well, obviously that Holley 2300 flange 450 CFM carburetor, I don't remember the actual number of it, sorry guys, isn't going to be on this tractor forever. And I would like that spacer for when I put it on a car or a truck or whatever in the future, because I just know how I am. But that carburetor is actually kind of size for this engine, because this is a 4.6 liter. And that's carburetors, like, when I did the math, it was for a 5.7, so still a little big, but it'll work.